All right, here we go. Weekly recap number 4. Wow, flying by here. We've got Doug W over there fixing up himself before he comes on. He's going to talk about his little week in review over here. We're just going to kind of recap and
I
discuss.
wonder if you should start.
Yeah, I mean, I think this week was a very productive week as far as weeks go with what we're doing. We managed to do a minimum of 1 video per day, which I'm proud of. I want to see you uploading a little bit more, though. I want to see some uploading, and I know that can be a little, you know, time consuming for you and stuff. So, if that's for the week ahead, something we can work on, that would be very good. The quality of content is going up. I can already see that with everything. I just think the content is just rolling forward, and our conversations this week where we just kind of figured out, hey, this is this, that's that. We've talking more about like future stuff we want to do, and talking more about where we're at now, where we want to go, and just if you look about a month ago, this is our 4th recap. 1 month ago we kind of just started this thing off, right? The channel was just put up. The ideas were just flowing, and I think we've come a long way in just 1 month, to be honest with you. What do you think? Turn it over to you.
First, the download. What do you mean? You mean downloading things directly, downloading from Movie Maker to YouTube directly?
Yeah, just uploading them from your workspace, whether it's on your iPhone or your MacBook. Just directly uploading them to YouTube. Because when the real deal with this too is to have you in a mode of uploading your content too. And just kind of like getting in the feel of that. That's a goal that we put forth when we were working on just the structure of what we were going to do here too. Because it's important. Once you get into a comfortable phase, you're going to just be uploading videos daily, and then just going from there. What do you think?
Well, I just have to learn to do it. I've tried to do it a couple times, and I've run into glitches.
Oh, with the
So
like uploading from the phone.
yeah, and then making the transition to use Movie Maker on the
Oh yeah, why don't
computer.
we let's touch upon that? Like, because you've been doing this for a while now. Before we started working together, you were doing this for a few weeks or so, and you've been doing it on your phone. So yeah, you've been kind of dabbling in the MacBook. So kind of, you want to talk about that a little bit?
What I'm saying is, it's. I mean, this whole. I was feeling this week is that this project. When I use my phone. Okay, I said when I use my phone for a variety of reasons, it seems to be working better because number one, my occupation, because I'm moving and I'm on the go. Like the movie I made last night, it's so much easier to make stuff that's reality based, like I did last night, where I was shooting inside the truck, then I was shooting in the sleeper, and then I walked into the truck stop, and then I walked back to the truck, and I didn't have to carry the laptop around or sit in front of the laptop. The phone is so portable, it fits in my hand, and it's so easy to use, and it goes with me everywhere, and I can do things on the fly. I can do things on the fly when I'm out working. I can videotape out my. Now I got a new magnet for my new phone, so my new phone, I'm not gonna hold my phone anymore because I've decided that it's probably a good idea because night transportation's policy is they don't want us holding the phone to make a phone call. They want us to use Bluetooth and have hands free. So rather than rock the boat, I've decided I just got a magnet for my iPhone I like here, one with 500 gigabyte storage. So I have the magnet on the back so that it will fit all of the windshield mounts. So I can have it facing me when I'm driving. I can have it facing out, and I already tested it out today, and it's really easy to do that. And then the iMovie itself, the software already on the phone, I know how to use it, and I can use it really quickly. And plus, all of my photos and my videos and my my library, my resource materials right there on my phone. And I can make a movie pretty fast on my phone. But when I go to the Mac, like I said, it doesn't have the soundtrack on it, so I can't use that like I can on the phone. And we talked about how we can, try to get that solved so that I have my soundtrack ones that I picked out and downloaded to my iMovie. It's just going to take some time to transfer the sound and get accustomed to how it works. The iMovie on the phone on the computer isn't exactly the same as on the phone. It seems a little more isn't as user friendly. But I did do one thing. I did do that was significant. I downloaded all of my photos and pictures and videos from my phone, all of the content. There was over like 17 or 1800 photos and videos. I did download all of those onto my Mac, so they're all on the Mac. So that was a stumbling block because I didn't have any photos or videos to draw from when I used the iMovie on the computer. So now I have all those on the computer. So then if I get my soundtrack on the computer, then I'll have the soundtrack and all the content, okay? And obviously I can transfer new content as I make it. And then now it's just a matter of learning how to use the iMovie on the Mac. And my original idea was to use the iMac. I used my computer, my laptop at night, like right now when I have 10 hours and I'm not moving around. So during the day, I would gather new content with my phone, maybe even make some quick movies or whatever. But at night, I would open up my laptop when I officially have the whole rest of the night off, and I would go to use my laptop and make a movie with my laptop.
Right. Yeah.
When I do it.
Yeah, I like the aspect of you've just been doing this with your phone, and that's pretty cool too to see. It doesn't really take anything much more than just figuring out a couple steps and going through that little figuring out and learning phase, so that you can just kind of do what you got to do. So even though you're still you're learning the MacBook, it's great that you're still able to create, just on your phone. And if that's what you're comfortable with, that's what I recommend doing at the end of the day. You don't have to go on your, computer if you don't want it. It's just, it's so.
I guess what I'm trying to explain,
Yeah.
is I got the laptop and spent a lot of money on it. And I don't regret it. I have it. I know I'm going to eventually use it, and everybody tells me how great it is. But the reality, I've realized I didn't really, as far as what I'm doing with my driving and the moving around and what I've been doing with iMovie and making movies, I don't really even need the laptop. And also in a way, it's kind of more duplicatable because everybody has an iPhone. And if another truck driver wants to join my team or be a part of this in some way, I can tell them, do you have an iPhone? Yeah, I've got an iPhone. Well, here, I can show you how you make movies with your phone, and you have your iMovie. It's more duplicatable. It's a quick teach to pass it on to someone versus do you have a Mac? And are you willing to Mac? And not everybody's willing to spend a couple grand on a Mac, but most everybody, a lot of people have an iPhone. So in a way, the phone is portable, easy, especially if I go to Japan. That's one of the reasons I was cool in Japan. I could take my phone everywhere. I can immediately take pictures, shoot some movies, do a live, open up Facebook, download it to Facebook, and share it immediately.
Okay. So basically,
the phone,
I guess moving forward, it's just you doing it on the phone then, at the end of the day, unless you feel like you want to move into doing it on the computer, so.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is I thought I'm going to continue. It's kind of like now you hear the saying "kiss, keep it simple," and it's like if it ain't broke, why try to fix it? It's like I can continue, and what's happening too as I'm using the phone and making movies. Okay, I'm getting creative. I'm getting faster. I'm getting like I'm spontaneously doing stuff. Like last night with the movie I did last night. I didn't even have any format. I started out where I wanted to make a reality-based thing inside the cab, and I talked about the e-logs and went through the the, the, the specifics of the e-logs. And I talked about my playing my music inside and kind of give a tour of the inside of my truck. Okay. Then I went into the truck stop and I came back here. And then I spontaneously did that split screen thing with my 68, 67-year-old version of myself and talking to my 37-year-old version of myself, like I was talking to my young self and having a two-way conversation. And that was all completely spontaneous, and that was just on the phone. And so I find that the phone, I'm just continue, I guess, using it. But at the same time, I'm not going to give up on the Mac. It's going to be kind of a side project where I'll just keep working on it. But
Okay. Well, that's good because at least we know, like, what to expect going forward. It's like, we can just focus on you focusing on the phone. And then when you branch out into the MacBook Pro, that's just something you'll explore as you grow if that's something you want to do. And trust me, I love the idea of keeping it simple. And the phones these days are crazy good and obviously way easier than lugging around a computer. It's either you like to use a computer or you don't, or you want to add that into the mix or you don't. So it seems like right now you're in a spot where, you're able to do your thing. You're able to work on your craft and do your art just by your phone. I think that's great. I wouldn't change it, like I said. I just know that when we moved into this, we wanted to kind of check out the computer thing. And, it just seems like you found more comfort in the phone. That's no problem there. So we'll keep that rocking forward. I love it. And it's great because anybody can come out and make videos and create content with their phones. And this doesn't have to be a perfected thing, because it's really all about just sharing a piece of who you are, sharing value, and connecting with people. That's really what this is all about. So if you do that, it doesn't really matter what you make your content on or how, high you go in the levels of stuff that you want to create. So I love it. Is there another level of that topic you wanted to talk about, or did you want to move on to some other things to chat about?
Oh, we can move on, I guess.
All right. So you're back on you're off the dedicated loads now as of this week. We've got a change up in the schedule. We've got some new video footage that's going to be coming out. We've got some more content coming to the table with the travels. Sorry if it's a little windy, a little wind coming by. Do you want to talk about how you just picked up a new kind of schedule or how you kind of transitioned out of what you were previously in, and we kind of go from there?
I mean, I tried the dedicated because it seemed like on paper it was gonna be a cool thing to do for a while because it would keep me close to home and it was simple and but what happened is it's kind of like everything else. You go after something. In theory, it seems like it's a good thing, and the only way to find out if it's going to work or not, you have to get in and do it. And then when you do it, you find out whether there's things that happen that you weren't planning on. And so what happened with the dedicated is that there was always complications. I was getting my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday Winco loads. Not all of them were coming through. I had several cancellations, which when there's cancellations, at first I was okay with that because it meant I got to go home earlier and then I'd have more time with my parents and all that stuff. But then that started costing me money basically. And then getting back to Phoenix, there was always complications trying to get back and trying to make everything fit. And finally I got to the point, I just told my driver manager, I said, I gave this a try, but it's more hassle than it's worth. I'd rather just go back to what I'm used to for the last 12 years, and that's over the road. And as soon as I got in the truck, now these last couple loads, including this one right now, I've had some problems that were no fault of my own, stuff like being late dispatched and having to reschedule and stuff. But my point is that I'm back in my element. Like even the problems I'm facing now, the problems I faced in the past, and I know exactly what to do. You know, it's like, okay, this is what's happening. This is what we need to do. We do it and problem solve. And I've also got to go. I was just in Boise, Idaho, and now I was just in Salt Lake, and now I'm going to be in Southern Cal. And I just like being able to see more country and moving. It's just a lot better. So at the bottom line, I'm just going to stick with over the road. Plus, it gives us more backdrop, more scenery, more variety.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you bring to the table with the over the road, because the video that you just put out that we'll be uploading is just beautiful. The scenery you got with that bridge, the shots you were getting of the water and that valley, it was just, yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes, and it's cool that you get to do that.
That place too, it's interesting. Twin Falls, that particular bridge is one of two bridges in the United States you can legally jump off of.
Yeah, now where is that again exactly?
It's in a place called Twin Falls, Idaho. You should look it up on the map. It's where what happens is if you're down in Interstate 80 runs from Sacramento, over Donner Pass to Reno, and then it comes out of Reno. And if you keep going on Interstate 80, it will eventually run all the way into Salt Lake City, and eventually go through Wyoming. But what Twin Falls is, in a place called Wells, where I spent the night, you can go off of the 80 and take this U.S. highway called U.S. Highway 93. And 93 goes straight north. You connect with the Interstate 84. And where the 84 and the 93 connect is where Twin Falls is located.
All right, cool. I love it. Yeah, I just pulled up the map. Can you see that? Well, I don't know if you can see it on your phone, but yeah, I just pulled up the map of the Twin Falls area.
So it's a really nice area, but that particular place too, what's cool is they have a pull-out area where cars can pull there too, but the pull-out area where you can pull over with your semi-truck.
Nice.
And just park it and walk across the bridge and walk around and take photographs. So that's what I did. It was on my route, so I didn't even necessarily have to go out of my way.
Nice.
So that
and now,
was nice.
So how does that work? Like, I just had a quick question come into mind since we're on the topic. Like, so when you have to go somewhere to deliver a truckload, like, do you select the route? Does the route depend on like traffic and construction and time, or is it the route just given to you and you have to go whatever route is? How does that work?
Now, they pretty much empower me because of my experience. Okay, what happens is, first of all, Knight has an awesome system because they've got 29,000 trucks or whatever, so they have to have some type of system that's uniform that everybody's trained on and uses. Okay, so what happens is when you're dispatched, you're dispatched to load. Okay, you're given your load, what they call the load plan. It has all the information. It's like a form that shows where you're picking up. That's called the shipper. Where you're delivering the consignee. It has the bill rating, the PO, any particulars that you need about the load. It's called the load plan. Okay. Then you have a route plan, which you're talking about. You have a route plan like the land pilot analogy I would use. It's like your flight plan. That's your route plan. And then you have your fuel solutions. It's like where you're getting fuel. Okay. And then sometimes they'll have directions on how to get to the shipper and how to get to the consignee. So the bottom line, you have all the information available. So that's really good for a brand new person that doesn't know the highway system and doesn't know the way around. It gives them a template, gives them instructions of what to do. So they just follow that route plan, and they'll be just fine. Now, if someone with experience like me, okay, I often don't even have to look at the route plan because I've been with Knight long enough. I know when they give me a certain shipper, I know how they're routing me. Okay, in my head, I have it all memorized. So I go, okay, oh, I know that. I know, like when I got this last one, I know, oh, they're going to send me up 80 exactly, 80 Reno to Wells, up to 93, and up way 84 to Boise. I already knew that. I didn't need a route plan. But to answer your question, if I'll give you a specific example. When I'm coming from Phoenix, oftentimes they'll have me going through Los Angeles where there's a bunch of traffic, and they'll have me going on the 10 and up to 57 to the 210. The point is, it's really, really congested and lots of traffic. So there's a back way that's a different route that's not too far out of the way. The point is, they will let me take a different route, so I get there faster and more efficiently because I got experience to make those types of decisions, as long as it's not too far what we call out of route. In other words, if the route I'm choosing is an extra 300 miles, they're not going to want me to take it. It costs them more fuel. But if it's an extra 25 miles or 50 miles, but it's going to save me an hour and I'm going to get there faster, I can change the route. So
gotcha.
You're empowered to change the route. That's my point. So it gets to the point once you get experience, you really don't feel like they're telling you what to do. It's like your own business. You know, you're managing yourself because you want to be efficient too. You know, I get paid by the mile, not by the hour. So I want to be efficient. They want me to be efficient. So we're all on the same page. And then in the midst of all of that, problems happen.
Right.
So what they want to do, like goes Madeline, they know I keep them informed. Like when I see a problem, I tell them immediately, okay, and then I tell them what we should do. I tell them the solution, what I suggest, and they communicate with everyone, and we meet the problem and we solve it and go on to the next thing. So, but yeah, no, so that that's all the basic information, and it's like anything else. Once you do that, I'll show you this.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, while you're looking for that, it's pretty cool. It seems like you can kind of, you know, do your own thing if you've got the know-how, and then kind of deal with whatever comes up and figure it out.
I had all these you can't see them. I had all the loads I've done the last few months stacked in a drawer here, and it's got messed up. But I had like stacks and stacks. See, when I do a load, I have a TransFlow. It's called a TransFlow, and it's basically like a fax cover sheet, but it's called a TransFlow, and it has the bill rating, all the information. And after I complete a load and I transfer it, I put it all in a drawer here. And what I'm getting at is sometimes I lose sight of how many loads I've done until I get a stack of these, and I have a stack that's like a foot tall, you know, of loads that I've done. And it kind of, because it's so easy. You do a load, you go to another one, and you kind of forget all the loads you've done.
Right.
But it's also on the phone, which is cool. We have a whole record of all the loads. Like you probably can't see this, but on my phone.
Oh, nice. So it just tells you like a digital record of what you're doing. A little bit to the other way, left or right, other way. There you go. Okay, good. Oh, you had it. If you go to the left, your left, I think it is. Yeah, a little bit more. Okay, so it's just a digital copy of all your. Nice.
It's basically a digital copy of everything I've done, not just this one page. It's everything. I can scroll down and look at my whole history of all the loads I've done. So it just like you can probably see. I'm just scrolling through. It just tells all the loads. So
Yep.
I not only have a paper record, I have a digital on my phone. I have all the loads I've done.
That's perfect. You
So,
can cross-reference it, and everything's right there. That's
well,
nice.
also to give you an idea, you can go look at, oh, here's where I was. I was in Lebanon, Oregon. Then I was in California. Then I was Woodland, and then I was Sacramento. Then I was here. Then I was Mesa. You know, you can look at all the places you travel. You know, what I love to have is software that each time you do a load, it kind of makes like it has like a blue line that shows the route you went on that load.
Oh,
And then
that'd
when
be
you do
cool.
another one, so that you can see on a map all the loads you've done and all the places you've traveled. You know,
Right. Yeah, that'd be
kind of a
awesome.
cool visual thing.
Well, I like that. I like figuring that out, and like, because even just working together over the last little bit here, there are just questions that come up, like how are things done? I think that's a great topic. Like, who decides which way you go? I mean, ultimately, you're on the road, so it's up to you. You're in the field, so I mean, there's only so much that people can tell you to do. Whereas, things have to happen, and things come up, and you got to work as a team too. So it's just interesting.
Uh, just there's nothing that can replace experience. And what happens is a brand new person, when you're brand new, you're just overwhelmed. Like when you first get your loads, you're just hoping you can figure out how to do them. You're just
Right.
hoping that you're just kind of hoping you can pull it off. Like when you first start out, it's really intimidating, no matter how smart you are or what you've done that you've been successful at. When you first do trucking and you first go out there, it's intimidating. You're sitting there in a truck and you're just getting this information, and they're telling you go from like Sacramento to Kansas City or something, and you don't have a clue how to get there. You don't know where you're going. You've never been there before, and you have a certain time frame to get there and parameters and stuff, and you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know how you haven't really backed it up into a dock before, and you hardly know how to back up at a truck. It just really overwhelmed. Like it took me about 7 or 8 months before I started feeling like, okay, I think I can do this, and then you just build on that,
Yeah, it
you
becomes
know.
like second nature, or like your muscle memory kicks in. So
But
that's yeah,
unconscious confidence, it's that thing that Tony Robbins talks about, unconscious confidence, and that gets to a point. It's a good feeling when you get to a point of mastery, like you just know I've got this.
right. You can
You get
just
stuff.
feel it. Yeah,
Yeah, you go, I have no, and then you get stuff that you don't know. Like I still have places I've never been before, and I know that I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out because I figured out everything else. So you get that self-reliance, and that's a good feeling, whether it comes through trucking or whatever. It's a good feeling that you get that self-reliance, and then you get that feeling that this is something not everyone can do. You
right.
know,
Well, it's interesting, like coming from your end, like because I think back on my end of things, because from 18 years old to 31 years old, I was unloading and loading trailers all the time, heavy equipment, pallets, all that stuff. So, like I that's something too you figure out as well, like loading things. At first you're kind of obviously really slow figuring it out, and then you figure out how to lift stuff and move stuff and pack stuff. And it's interesting just to see your world as the person connecting to that trailer and bringing it somewhere, and then the world that I used to be in for 12 years or so on my in my life, earlier in my life, was on the inside of that trailer that you were pulling, was the stuff going in and out of it. So
that's just what we deal with. Like when we go to a shipper or consignee, we first meet the guard, who get some basic information from us, but ultimately we deal with the shipping department. We deal with shipping, and we deal with the people that the yard dogs are moving the trailers around, and the people at the docks, and we're dealing with those people,
right.
and we're dealing. We see what they have to do with the forklifts. When I first started driving a truck way back when I was 28 years old, we used to hand load the whole entire 53-foot trailer, but then we used to with the a forklift unload everything. I learned how to use a forklift, and then
Nice.
we had to repack the trailer. But my point is, the forklifts back then weren't like the forklifts now.
Oh
The
yeah.
forklifts all computerized, and they have the barcodes, and they're reading the barcodes on the merchandise that's going on the trailer, and it's all
Right.
really high tech now. it's a lot different than it used to.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy how like that whole like warehousing and um, just being a carrier, how that works. You all have to have a communication together. Like Michelle and I were driving down the highway the other day. Maybe you can answer this question. I don't know. You actually, well, you handle loads that are in a trailer, so it's a little different. But we saw this person just carrying like some machinery on the back of that trailer, and we're like, now who's responsible for that? At the end of the day, yes, the person who loads it's responsible, but you're the carrier, so you
A
must
flat,
have responsibility to it.
was it a flatbed truck?
It was a
That's,
flatbed, yeah.
yeah, there's ours is called dry van, then there's reefer, and then there's flatbeds. Okay, flatbeds are a different animal. They have just, they don't have obviously the walls. They have the base, the chassis, and everything's the same, but they have to tarp, and they have to tarp, and they have to secure their loads. So they're responsible for that, and that's a lot of extra work. And then you have people that are hauling rig heavy machinery, like they call those low boys. They have like a trailer, but it's really low, and they have these big, huge machinery type of things that it has to have a wide load banner on it, and
Oh yeah,
sometimes they have escorted with the police, because it takes up the whole highway.
yeah.
And and that's heavy duty machinery hauling places,
So that's
you know.
something that you wouldn't do necessarily. You're more like
Uh,
just in the dry.
I mean, I could like what's cool, and then there's
But
tankers too.
Knight's not going to send you to go do like a flatbed delivery, right? Like that's not what you would do.
Not qualified to do it. I don't even know
Okay,
how to.
you're not part of that. Okay, gotcha. So you have to be a flatbed hauler. You have to know certain things like unloading and
Oh,
loading,
you have to know how to strap that down
how to
securely,
strap it.
uh,
Gotcha.
and tarp it, and you have to know. Now the guys I've talked to, they said it's like anything else. You just learn how to do it, but it's a lot of extra work. See, they just load my trailer. I close it up, put the seal on or lock, and I go. When you have stuff that and you can carry wood or merchandise, any number of things. But you have to tarp it. You take these tarps and you drape them over the stuff as you're carrying, and then you have to have these like I have straps that I use, but you have to take the straps and secure the tarp. And also secure the stuff. You can't just tarp it and secure the tarp. You have to actually secure the whatever you're hauling, so it doesn't shift or fall off the trailer.
Right.
So they have to. So that takes them a lot of that. It might take them an extra hour and a half just to secure the load and tarp it, secure it, and set it all up. It's a lot of extra work. But the flip side, what I've been told is, because it's so much extra work and there's not many guys doing it, they keep really busy because they have less competition. There's not as many flatbeds,
Right.
as
Yeah, that
dry
makes
van.
Yeah, that's cool. I like, just kind of these little questions. I love figuring out how stuff works. And it's pretty cool that, you answered that right there, right on point. It's great, when you think about it. How does that work? What's involved in that? And, maybe some people who want to become truckers, truck drivers, maybe they want a little extra responsibility. Maybe they don't. It's pretty cool that we can.
Some people like tarping, and then the other thing is there's tankers. And the other thing is there's hazmat. See, I have a hazmat endorsement actually, technically on my license. Hazmat is where you're carrying explosives, gas. Yeah, you're carrying like corrosions, explosive. You're carrying hazardous material on your truck. So I'm actually certified to do that, but I haven't done it with Knight so far. But I have a hazmat endorsement on my license. And to answer one question is that what's kind of funny is once you get your CDL, technically to get any of the endorsements, you basically have to just study the information on like in a booklet or test online, so that you can take a test at the DMV, and then like I take a hazmat test. It has all these questions about hazmat related cargo that you have to study for and then pass the test. And then once you pass the test, you have that endorsement on your license. It's true for tankers, doubles, any other endorsements on your license. The point is you'd have to just take the test. But as far as actually doing it, you have to go out and learn how to do it too.
Right.
But you're qualified to go out and do it. In other words, they don't give you the test and then they go out and make sure you know how to tarp a flatbed, or you know how to run a tanker, or like
You're
my
already
friend Don.
taking that training beforehand, right? Is what you're saying.
Um,
That's like if you're a tanker, you've passed the tanking tests to become
what
that
I'm saying is you've passed the head knowledge, okay, but then whoever's employing you to drive the tanker, let's say you're brand new and you've never driven a tanker, they're going to train you how to do it properly. There will be a first time when the employer actually trains you how to do it. You're certified to do it by the DMV, like the DOT. You're certified and legally you can haul it, but you don't know what you're doing. And then what happens is the company that hires you will train you how to like run a tanker, like to the pilot truck stops. They'll train you how to do that, how to hook up the lines at the pilots, and how to run the valves and all that, and how you do everything, and then how you pick up the fuel. They'll train you how to do that. And then once you learn how to do that, then you have both pieces. You have the certification on your license, and you have the actual know-how of how to do it, and then you have the experience.
That's pretty
So
cool.
it's kind of a 3-step process. Like my friend Don, who I train, he does doubles. So doubles is an endorsement when you see the
I wanted to
trailers.
you just brought that up. We've been seeing triples out here. That's crazy. We were just like, what the heck?
Yeah, there's in some states like Idaho and Montana, and in some of those states they have triples, and so yeah. And Don says it's really not that big a deal. The hardest part is learning how to hook them up, and but he said actually driving them down the highway, it's not a big deal. It's just hooking them up. But see, like with Don with FedEx, the cool thing with him is they just go from terminal to terminal. In other words, he goes to like a FedEx terminal and he picks up his 2 trailers, his doubles, and he just goes to another FedEx terminal. He just drops those off, and then he gets the other one. So
it's
you
pretty much
never
a
go.
straight shot. It's pretty much a straight shot to where he's going, and he can just. It's not like he's trying to back down somebody's business and near all this stuff. He's just going terminal to terminal, boom, like a missile.
Yeah.
And now, that's just an interesting thing. Like just to see those. I used to be impressed by those as a kid. You see the little double trailers go by, and you're just like, what the heck?
Yeah, he makes good. He makes about $90,000 a year. He makes good. It's funny. I trained him, and he took it to the next level, and he does well. But the flip side, he does teams, and he works his ass off. But like he's done really well, and he knows what he's doing, and then he knows how to chain. It's kind of funny. He's actually surpassed me as far as his abilities, but he did it through just jumping in and doing it. He started out with me. So.
Well, that's cool that, at the end of the day, you've been able to help people, and, whether you've started their career and they've taken off with it, or whether just giving them the basics to get their feet wet. I think that's pretty cool too, that you've been doing it for 12 years and you've got this little range of driving, training, knowledge about what it takes to become, somewhat different kinds of, haulers. And it's just pretty cool that.
Yeah, I like dry van, and then reefer is another animal. You've seen.
Oh yeah, right.
The reefers are what haul all the meat and groceries and perishables.
So you got to kind of know refrigeration at the end of the day, right? Or at least how to use the trailer.
Oh, you have to learn. You have to know how to fuel the reefer. You have to know how to manage it, because you have to set the temperature. Sometimes it's 10 below zero, sometimes it's 30, sometimes 50, and you're hauling like real expensive perishables, like you're hauling like real expensive, like a whole truckload of meat, you know, out dairy or whatever, and you have to haul it, and you haul it from, you know, one warehouse to another, and you have something that's very perishable. Just think how it's like right now, it's like 110 degrees, and
Right.
you're hauling has to stay down to like 30 degrees, you know. But all the guys that I talk to, we have a reefer division. You know, I'm dry van, and you can, if you really want to do reefer, you can do reefer. But then they also, you have to wash out the trailers, like they have to be really super clean. So after you empty your trailer, you have to take it to a washout place, and they
Oh, wow.
wash out the trailer. So that's one extra thing you have to do. I have to do washouts once in a while, but not every time. But
But
they
you're
have to
just
wash.
washing the outside, right, of your trip, you're saying? Or you wash the
Uh,
inside?
well, sometimes if I haul like night, we haul hay. I haven't done this in a while, but we haul hay, soil, all kinds. Like it was weird when I first got started with them. I got this load, and I was driving up this industrial area, up this mountain, and I thought, this is kind of weird. This looks like soil or something. I don't know why I'm here. And I found out I had to back up into this conveyor belt that went in the back of the trailer, and they had a big scooper that scooped the soil on the conveyor belt, and it made piles of this gypsum soil that they use in agriculture, I guess. And it makes all these separate piles, and it's about 45,000 pounds of soil,
Wow.
and you're hauling soil, and that was strange. And then we haul hay too. You've seen maybe flatbeds of hay
Yeah.
when you're in agricultural areas. We haul hay too. That was kind of strange.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's a
funny.
little bit different. We've hauled corn, moose corn, hay, soil, you know, stuff
Interesting,
like
yeah. And then now what's the most you can haul in your trailer? Like thinking about it, what is it? You can haul like 60,000 pounds, or what's the highest you
that.
can?
Oh, no, typically just just okay. I'll kind of explain it a couple ways. Okay, first of all, I know I can haul normally about 45,500. That's my maximum. So when I get a load and I get the bill lading and it says 45,000 or 44,000, it's getting close to my maximum. And the reason why it's getting close to my maximum is your gross weight, counting your tractor and your trailer without the cargo, okay? And then the fuel, all together, all those things can't be more than 80,000 pounds total,
Okay.
okay? So what happens, reason why you know, okay, I can only haul like 45,000, because you know that even with just a half a tank of fuel, for each gallon of fuel, it's approximately, it varies. Like some people have said it's 5 pounds, some people have said it's 8 pounds. But we have 200 pounds of fuel. Like think in terms of how much fuel your van has. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
we have we have 200 gallons of fuel. So let's just use 8 as an example. Let's say it's 8 pounds. So you take 8 pounds times 200, that's 1,600 pounds of this fuel.
Wow.
Uh, so, so we know, and then that's one factor. The other factor is then how it's loaded. If it's balanced, you can, some guys, they do it really well. It's perfectly balanced on your drives and your tandems. That could be 32,000, 32,000. But then some guys load it, they have the 45,000, which is the maximum. But on top of that, they load it wrong. So you go to scale it, and it's wrong. It's overloaded on one of the axles, and it's super light on another. They didn't load it where it's balanced.
Right.
So then what you have to do is you have to go all the way back to the shipper. We call it
Oh,
you have to go all the way back, check in, go back in line, go back to the dock, and they have to reload everything
what do they
and
call it
try
again? I missed it. What's that called?
rework the load, rework,
Okay.
REWRK. You have
Gotcha.
to rework the load. And fortunately, that doesn't happen very often, because if it's a little off, if it's manageable, we can move the tandems, and it's our job to try to make it legal the best we can. And if
Gotcha.
we
Right.
just can't make it legal, we have to take it back. We don't have any other choice.
Oh, so is that why when you move those wheels back, that's to compensate
Yeah.
for the distribution? And does that also give you a tighter turning
Oh,
radius?
but that,
Like when
yeah,
you can move it better sometimes when the tandems are a little forward or something. Or I
yeah,
don't know what it is, but
yeah. It affects your turning radius, and sometimes, like, I'll give you an example. This happened to me yesterday. I went to pick up the load. In fact, the load I have now, the trailer I have now, it was in a, it was you can't see, but it was in a slot, but it had like eighth of an inch clearance on both sides, on either side of the trailer. And most places have that couple, 3 or 4 inches or whatever at least. So I tried to pull it out without scraping it. I tried, because you have to pull way out. And then when you have the trailer almost out, but it's not all the way out, it still has about 3 or 4 or 5, 6 feet that's still in there. And you make that turn, the back of the trailer can scrape the other trailer. So I tried a couple of times, but I said, no, I can't do it. So then I have to go get the yard dog, okay, and say, look, you have to pull this out for me. I can't get it. And even the yard dog has a smaller yard dog truck, not the big long sleeper. And yesterday, even with the smaller yard dog trailer with only one axle, in the back, he came out and he almost scraped the trailer still, that's how tight it was.
yeah, that's the funny thing because like where I used to work at a Caterpillar warehouse, they had some weird tight docks, and that would be the biggest complaint from truck drivers is like, how do you expect me to get this in there or out of there? And it's just like I have no idea. So we'd be always out there directing them and helping them, and they'd get hung up on some rocks or whatever. But it's just amazing with these
Oh, there
facilities.
could be there can be rocks, there can be
Oh yeah,
cars and sometimes they're not thinking. And the other thing is, some of these places are not designed for what's called sleeper cabs. They're designed for day cabs. They're smaller. The maneuverability and the size of the lot, the pull-up area, it's not designed for a big truck. So as a driver, you go into some of these places, you're like, oh my God,
right.
how am I going to do this? And there's times that if you can't do it, it's impossible to do it. You just can't. You just say, it's not happening here. I can't get this in here. There's no way. I don't know how you expect me to put it in this hole. But I've never had that.
Actually, company, the truck driving company that came to the place that I was at was Conway CFI, and they actually had to a couple times send out other drivers to like get the trailer out because the person was just like too stressed out and was just like way too much. And I could definitely feel their pain because the space was just really weird. Like you said, probably meant for a day cab, and you've got sleepers coming in there 99% of the time.
When I was with CRST, we did a lot of Conway freight. I went to a lot of Conway yards. We did a lot of air
Nice.
freight because we did their backup. We did their backup when they couldn't do it. So I'm familiar with them. But now they're API or something. They've changed.
Oh, they changed. It's funny. It used to say CFI on the trailers, and I did see something that had another 3-letter thing that looked just like one of their logos. So yeah, maybe I saw their new outfit. What do you think, my friend? We've got just about an hour under our belts here, or just about there. Is there anything you want to touch upon or chat about on today's recap, the 4th recap of our project?
I guess I'm gonna. I'm gonna. I don't think I've officially made a movie yet. When I get off, I'm gonna make a movie. It's kind of funny because I said this before. It was really funny when I did the video 90-day challenge. I was stressing out over being able to just do a 5-minute video every day. I thought this, and I felt like, well, it was my schedule. I don't know if I can pull this off today. Now it's weird. It's relaxing, and I look forward to doing it. And I have to stop myself. Like I feel like I can do a 5-minute video so easy. I have to be careful. Like that one last night was an hour and a half. I feel like now I got to the point I can literally sit and record almost nonstop and just go to sleep and get up again and keep recording for weeks on end. I feel like I can just keep recording. I've gone from like being, it's weird. It's hard to describe. It's kind of weird to have this little phone that you can create like a real movie, and then if you add the import, being able to import different things to it,
Right.
it's pretty remarkable to me. And I'm trying to, I talk to people almost every day about it and tell them, you ought, I don't know if you have an iPhone, you ought to check this out. It's so cool. But
I love it.
anyway, I don't have anything more to say. I'm trying to think of anything that happened.
Well, it's the 4th of July, we're here doing our hangout. I love it. We're staying committed here and, just doing our thing. And I love that. So, you're out there. What's your schedule? You got 10 hours off from here on out, right? Is that you're off for at least 10?
Uh, yeah, I've got this load. It has to be delivered anytime between now and midnight, fortunately, tomorrow. So I have a big window. I have a 24-hour window on this. So I checked on that tonight. I technically don't have to leave right when my 10 hours is up, but choose not to. But I can if I want to. It's how I feel. My 10 hours off goes by really fast. You can't imagine. And I normally don't even sleep that much. The hardest part is the 10 hours is designed to where I should be sleeping 8. But I've always been the kind of person I only require like 4 or 5 hours worth of sleep.
Right.
I wish I could sleep 8 or 10. I wish when I have a whole day, you know how some people just sleep the whole day away. I can't do that. I try to. Like when I go home, I have like 2 days off, 3 days off with no accountability. I go to bed thinking, okay, I can just sleep for a whole day and nothing to do. But I can't. I get up, especially now with making these movies. I'm at home. I have all the spare time without the truck, and I'm like, I start making some coffee. I start making some coffee at night. Pretty soon, I'm like up all night making movies.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's
Oh,
fun.
but the thing I want to mention, it's really important. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
This woman from Singapore. I was
Oh yeah, I
in the
saw
truck.
that by the way.
Yeah, it was so cool. I was in the truck and she just sent me a Facebook message and she just said something like, "I like your stuff," And she had said something before, and I said to her, here she's in Singapore, and I said, "What do you mean by my stuff? Did you see my videos on my wall, or did you see them on the Did you see my on the YouTube?" And she said she saw them on my wall, and she asked me how long I've been doing this, and I said, "Only a couple months." She goes, "It looks like you've been doing this forever. I've been watching your stuff. I really like it." And and then I asked her if she'd like to be on a Zoom call or be on. She said, "No, I just want to." She said, "But what I'd be willing to do, I'll comment on it, and if you want to mention me in the video on the related to comment." She said, "I'd prefer not to be actually on camera or whatever." But I still think it was cool that she's in Singapore.
Yeah, and hey,
Uh,
it's always great to have fans too. And like I say to anybody online doing anything, like great place to insert this here. When you start doing YouTube stuff and start doing anything on social media where you're connecting with more people, there are going to be, some people that come into the game that aren't really, people that you can trust. So just be careful who you're talking to, even if they are really supportive of what you're doing, because there are a lot of scammers and a lot of deception out there with fake profiles and things like that. I'm not saying that people aren't genuinely interested. I'm saying just beware, no matter who you are out there. If you're starting YouTube, because I remember, when I really wanted to get my Facebook going to another level, you got to really figure out like who's real, who's fake, and who's just like.
yeah, I even like that with her.
I mean? Yeah.
I told her the truth. I said, I was honest with her when I was chatting, and I'm not saying something that she doesn't know, but I said to her the truth. I said, you're very attractive. And I said, you're young. And I said, I get all the time women that want to have sex and they want me to, pay for sex or something or pictures or whatever. And I said, I always get a little suspicious when out of the blue I have an Asian woman that's attractive that hits me up on Facebook.
Well, to give you an example, we work with another client who's, in his early 60s, and he's, online doing the same thing, building his brand. And, he thought this girl was in love with him. Like, he actually fell for it. And it was kind of like, and we were there, Michelle and I were there, like, hey, careful, this is not real. Just look at this, look at that. Like, there are these little key things to look at Facebook profiles or just anyone online. And it was very simple. We warned him immediately. He kind of like just didn't listen to us and had to figure it out for himself. But he ended up like, he didn't spend a bunch of money, but he ended up losing like $100. He bought this girl these video game gift cards. So it's like, what is this? Some 15-year-old kid, like, pretending to be somebody. It's just like,
oh yeah,
just be careful. That's all I'm saying to everybody, even watching this broadcast. And
I told her up front. I said, and she said the same thing. She said that it's true for her. She gets guys that want sex. It can. Yeah. Even in fact, when I met my Brazilian ex-girlfriend, when I first met her, she was beautiful, and I just was suspicious of whether she was even real. If she really had kids and she really lived in Sao Paulo. And I was highly suspicious because I thought she was a lot more attractive than I was. You know what I mean? I thought, like, why is she even interested in me? I'm like, there's something wrong with this picture, that kind of thing. And as it turned out, when I actually went there and she was real and she really had a family, she liked her picture and everything, was actually really cool. But yeah, no, I agree. You have to be careful online.
that's a
When
good thing to think about. Yeah.
something is too good to be true, it seems like, you just have to be careful. And that's why I'm trying to be really authentic in my videos with people, that I'm a real person. This is what's really going on. I'm trying to make my videos more real based.
Right.
That's why yesterday I showed the inside of the truck. I showed the outside of the truck. I went outside of the truck. Even with her today, we started chatting, and I said, I'm just a normal person. This is my truck. I'm really a truck driver. This isn't like, anyway, no, you have to be careful out there.
I love it. I think it's a great topic to touch upon. And I think that, even like these weekly recap hangouts, we just kind of like hang out, talk about the week in review, talk about little topics that we can think about. And I think that, we've given our viewers, the people who have subscribed, the people who will subscribe in the future, and wherever this video ends up, right now it's going to be on Facebook. Excuse me, YouTube. So who knows? Maybe you will see it on Facebook. I think it's great. I'm having fun.
Tell me before you run off, what are you guys doing? Where are you at?
Yeah, we're up in Montana. We're up in the mountains of Montana right now. So we're seeing a friend for the 4th, and then we're going to be just exploring this area here. We've always wanted to venture off around here, but we haven't been able to because we've had a 30-foot camper before. So now that we're in the van, we can kind of see all these different places that we've been wanting to see. Because we've been coming to this spot out here in Montana just for the last few years. So it's great to come back and see our friend here and, just kind of enjoy the area. So we're hanging out here for now and exploring. And yeah, that's the plan.
So how long are you going to be there?
We're thinking we'll be up in this area for at least a month and then just kind of go from there. Yeah, well, we're liking Idaho as well, so we might cut across over to Idaho, and then I don't know. We're kind of we love Crater Lake, but we don't think we want to go to Oregon. So yeah, we're just kind of like feeling it out. Like I said, we have a friend out here. We just knew that we were going to come out here around this time, and we're just kind of going to go from there, depending on what the weather's like and what we feel. So.
How long do you plan to keep going like this? You guys continue to do this in the wintertime too?
Well, that's the thing. Like when wintertime comes around, we made it a plan this year to really travel. Like you love like you. I think you were missing that. The over the road thing because you just see so much, and like our travels have just been beautiful, seeing all the different landscapes and all that. So, I mean, we kind of talk about finding a place to hang out for the winter. Maybe like some kind of ski town, or I don't know. We get tempted anywhere everywhere we go, so it's kind of hard to tell which is serious or not. So we're just gonna enjoy the summer and figure it out in the next you know couple months when things kind of slow down with the summer. And I mean, up in Montana, you really don't have that much time. By September, you could start seeing snow. So there's only really a good solid 2 months up in this area to enjoy the warm weather. So
Okie dokie. Well, I guess I'll let you sign off. And I've got the air going, and I'm just kind of these trucks get really hot if you don't run the air
so yeah, what
conditioner.
do you run? You run the air conditioner, like what, off a generator? What do you have? How does that work? That's a good. Let's end it with that. How do you stay cool?
Unfortunately, with a big truck, they have what they call AP units. They're these little motors. You see how some of the trucks, it's on the side, and it draws from the same diesel fuel, but it's a little Thermo King motor that just runs an air conditioner and a heater. So you actually set a thermostat for both heat and air, and you don't have to run the big motor. Okay. With my truck, the flip side, in the winter I have a bed heater, so I don't have to run the truck in the wintertime when I want to warm the sleeping compartment. And I can turn it on. I said it runs all night long, and it also draws from the diesel fuel, but doesn't burn out that much fuel at all. Unfortunately, the flip side, when it's hot like this, like it's 110, like right now it's 113 degrees.
Oh man, where are
Uh,
you again? You're in Nevada
I,
or
I'm near Las Vegas,
in Vegas? Wow.
and so it's 113 degrees. So I have to pull the curtain so the sun's not coming through the windshield, and then I have to just run the truck with the air conditioning. And it takes a while to cool it off. And now it's nice and comfortable in here. Okay. But it's amazing. If I turn the truck off and I just go inside the truck, I think I'll just save some fuel. And I come back in the truck just 10 minutes later, it's toasty hot in here again. So what I have to do is just keep the truck running the whole time I'm off, preferably until the temperature may drop down to like 80 degrees at night.
Now,
Might drop down.
now since you've kind of tied in this fuel thing, I have to bring up one more question. This will be my last question. We'll end it. The fuel thing. How does it work? So, like, if you're using your AC and burning up fuel, or you take a little bit longer of a route, like, is that something that you get kind of like talked to about, or is it just like whatever? As far as you need
Um,
fuel, you get it.
what happens is they call it idle time, and they know, like, especially if I'm based in Phoenix. Okay, let's say I have to drive at night, but I have to sleep during the day. Okay, they know. I just tell them up front, I can't sleep during the day without air conditioning. I have to run the truck. They just know during the summer months you have to do it
But
because I have to.
your camera kind of is down. I'm only seeing like from here down on you. Yeah. Oh, so you let them know, like, that they're kind of like what to. So you kind of know what to expect at the end of the day. If it's
Well,
hot,
well, what they know, I guess the bottom line, what I'm saying is they know in the summer drivers are idling their trucks and they have to.
right?
It's either that or they have to pay for put us in a hotel. It's one or the other
Okay.
because we can't sleep in a truck that's 140 degrees inside.
Yeah,
We
maybe.
can't.
I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, yeah,
And if we
that's it, right?
and,
The point of having the sleeper is to be able to use it.
and if we can't sleep, we can't drive.
Right.
So it's the point. But here's what I'm getting at. In the flip side, in the wintertime, when it's not really hot, but guys are running the truck needlessly, you know. I had a co-driver that had to run the truck all the time to the point it felt like it was a refrigerator in here. I was uncomfortable.
Oh
So that
wow.
in that case in the winter, if you're idling too much, and you aren't supposed to, they'll say something because it costs about it's about 9/10 to 1 gallon per hour. So if you
Okay.
figure if I run the air and I run the truck for 10 hours, just round numbers, it's 10 gallons of fuel times $3 or $4. So it's going to cost them $30 or $40 every 10-hour break. Now multiply that by 29,000.
Yeah, seriously. Jeez.
They spend millions of dollars on fuel.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
but if they want to, they could put one of those AP units on every truck, and they wouldn't have to do that. So each of those AP units cost about $5,000.
Oh, so just a
So
matter of, what they want to do as far as that goes.
yeah, so the bottom line, we have to be comfortable. But the point is, as a driver, you're supposed to use your own discretion and judgment, because you're supposed to actually think in terms of, you want to think of the company too. You
Right.
know, if they're not making money and we're being wasteful and they go out of business, we don't have a job. So you have to kind of have an ownership type of mentality. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything, you
Yeah.
just have to think everything. You try to do the best you can and not be irresponsible. And that includes, but I'm running the truck now, and I don't feel guilty about it because it's hot. It's
Yeah,
113. It's
exactly.
a
Right. You're supposed to use the truck to live in when you're traveling. So yeah, you want it to be cool and comfortable. So I love it. I love these little questions because I don't know if any viewers notice, like, you're driving down a highway and you see a truck, and all of a sudden you just start thinking about these little things that have to do with trucks. And, here we are kind of just talking about that stuff. So I love it.
well,
Do you,
there's a little detail. I'm just saying there's probably 1,001 little details that the average person doesn't even know about.
Oh, right. Michelle and I will talk about all kinds of stuff. So like even now, like, just truck stuff kind of comes up. And even like, I swear maybe not, maybe I've seen a night truck before, but that was like, when I saw the night truck over there, it was like, I found like a little Easter egg in the corner. Cause I never really see night trucks. I mean, maybe when we were traveling years ago and I just don't remember it, well, it's night. It's not another. CR England has a similar logo to you, I think. Almost. Is that what it is? CR England or something
Yeah,
English?
CRST that I started with, CR England, those are two companies that train students. They're considered training
Right.
companies. And then us, like not all the companies train new drivers. A lot of companies just take experienced drivers. Not all companies have their truck drivers.
Right.
So
That's pretty cool
they get
though. Yeah, that they actually train you like that. I love that part. And I just think the whole thing is fascinating. And I think that it's a good spot to cut our episode today. And I think that we've talked a lot about trucking this time. I think that on our next recap we should kind of tap into a little bit of the past. A little bit of Tokyo, a little bit of your previous creation abilities back in the day, early 2000s. So everybody watching, stay tuned for more conversations dealing with trucking, dealing with Tokyo, Japan, traveling, personal development. We've got a lot of awesome stuff coming up. So like, subscribe, share. Doug, did you want to close out with anything that you had to say or anything that you want to add to a closing chat?
I think it's great. I think it's I just like, I think it's just a miracle. It's just so cool that we can even, you're up in Montana, I'm sitting outside of Las Vegas, and we can just connect live
Yeah.
through technology. And someone at some point may watch this that we don't know. We don't know where they are. They don't know. We don't know who they are. And so they might hear something on here that causes them to watch some more, and then one thing leads to another, and and that we get connected with them, so I think it's really cool. So, but anyway, I'm after I get off this, I'm going to end up just focusing on making a video, and go from there. So
Perfect. I love it, my friend.
Okay, I'll let you go.
All right, yeah. So we'll upload the most recent videos. We'll upload this, in the next little bit. If you're seeing this today, happy 4th of July for everyone in the United States. And Doug, it's been great chatting with you, and we'll talk soon. Have an awesome rest of your night there. Sleep good, travel safe, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Okay, thank you, bud. Take
All
care.
right, man. You too. Bye.